I don't know how you do it. I put together some really impressive deals. But this thing you've pulled off, it's amazing. A big and tasty for just $1? How do you do it? What's your secret?
Well, you see, once upon a time, there was Grimace Island.
It's true.
One day, black people came to the island and were mean to the friendly Grimaces. That's why nobody has seen them since.
Got a buck? You're in luck. Because you can get a delicious Beefy Big and Tasty, a McChicken sandwich, and lots of your other favorites on McDonald's Dollar Menu every day.
I love you, Grimace.
Thank you.
More brutal news for some of the most beloved fast food, or I don't know what you would call it, mid-tier type restaurants in America, as bankruptcies skyrocket in the last 2 years under the amazing Bidenomics, setting some new high records for bankruptcies. More TGI Fridays closed down, more beloved craft stores closing down. This very well could be the true final death rattle of retail. And, anybody who's been out there knows this. Go to a mall once, not at Christmas time. Nobody's there. Nobody's adding value for shopping in stores. Everyone's shopping online. Inflation has made fast food absolutely unaffordable. People just stay home, which means they're out buying less stuff. Just bad news for Americans here. Huge shout out to everyone who's checking out Quartercast. It's our live show. I'm just promoting it today. We're live every day at 1 Eastern. It's me, Hannah Claire, Styx Hexenhammer, Melanie Mack, Gothics, Luke Rodkowski. We have a rotating cast and crew every single day at 1 Eastern. If you're a YouTube-only viewer and you don't want to download the Rumble app, please do give our show a try. Subscribe to Quartercast. You can watch a live show later when you're driving home. You can watch our clips. Really trying to push hard to get to 100,000 subscribers there by my birthday in April. If you're open to it, obviously Rumble is where I'd prefer you watch a live stream. Download the Rumble app. If you've tried Rumble before, give it another try. The app is working much, much, much better than that hasn't basically ever. So give us a try there. Links in the description. Of course, download the Rumble app. Follow the quartering. Urgent warning to Americans as key economic indicator hits its highest level since the 2008 financial crisis. Joann Fabric, shuts even more of its 800 stores down. Retail demolition, simply an unstoppable force right now. U.S. corporate bankruptcies hit their highest level since the 2008 financial crisis as Americans tighten their belts. Companies have also increasingly been grappling with high rising debts driven by high interest rates that caused borrowing costs to spike. In 2024 alone, 686 companies filed for bankruptcy. That's up nearly 10% from 2023 and almost more than what happened in 2021 and 2022 combined. It also marks the most filings since 2010, according to data from S&P Global Market Intelligence. In addition, last year, more companies tried to avoid bankruptcy through out-of-court actions, with these efforts outnumbering actual bankruptcies 2-1, according to Fitch Ratings. One of the year's biggest bankruptcies came from Party City, which filed for Chapter 11 for the second time in just over a year. The company announced it will now close all 700 stores, blaming inflation pressures and Americans cutting back on spending. The reasons mirror those of other struggling companies. Well, yeah, people don't have money to have parties. And they certainly, if they're having parties, they're not spending that extra money on decorations for it. The party is really the people that are there. It's not the decorations you buy. Other names like Tupperware, Red Lobster, Spirit Airlines also filed for bankruptcy this past year. Even popular vodka Stoli filed for bankruptcy in November. The persistently elevated cost of goods and services is weighing on consumer demand, said Gregory Dacko, chief economist at EY, told the FT, Financial Times, I assume. He said it was hitting lower income families the most. Now look at this chart of bankruptcies. Here is 2010, where we had the highest number of bankruptcies in the last nearly 20 years, okay? 828. Then 2020, obviously, we had the COOF, we had lockdowns, shutdowns, 589 of them in 2019, 2020 of them in 2020. Then 2021, just 400. That's actually a very significant drop. And then in 2022, it dropped to 372. But then in 2023, 2 years ago, it skyrocketed back up to 635. And then last year was at 700. While Federal Reserves have started lowering interest rates, the problem is you can't keep lowering interest rates. You need the Fed to stop depreciating our dollar. While Federal Reserve is starting lowering interest rates, relief for businesses will be limited. Forecasts suggest only a half-point rate cut in 2025, keeping pressure on struggling companies. Between 2021 and 2022, when borrowing costs were low, Americans were getting free money thanks to those stimulus checks. Only 777 bankruptcy filings were recorded. That is a stark contrast to 636 in 2023, 686 in 2024. At least 30 of last year's bankruptcy filings involved firms worth over $1 billion in liabilities, underscoring the strain of the financial strain. A rising number of businesses have turned into liability management exercises, financial tactics aimed at avoiding bankruptcy by restructuring their debts. While these moves have become increasingly common, experts warn that they are often just a temporary fix and can lead companies eventually filing bankruptcy anyway. I mean, the most high-profile bankruptcies have been amongst restaurant and retail chains, especially those with locations across America. As of December 20th, Corset Research tracked 48 retail bankruptcies in the U.S. compared with 25 from the year before, so they doubled. At least 22 restaurant chains filed for bankruptcy this past year, the highest number since the lockdowns. The highest profile restaurant was Red Lobster, which filed for bankruptcy in May, but emerged as going concern of shuttering almost 100 restaurants. BurgerFi, Buca de Beppo, and TGI Fridays also filed for bankruptcy, as did World of Beer, which was one of the fastest growing in America just 10 years ago. The most recent big retail bankruptcy was a Container Store, which filed for Chapter 11 protection on December 22nd. Most of us didn't notice that because it was Christmas. There's been no news on that yet. The store, known for its organizational goods, including closet organizers and storage bins, have been around for 50 years. Despite receiving a boost from some TV show during the lockdowns, the chain has been weighed down by mounting losses and inflation in recent years. Early in December, Big Lots said it was beginning its going out of business sales at all of its stores in the United States, every one of them. After filing for bankruptcy in September, it now hopes to keep 200 open after finding a new investor. Jo-Ann Fabrics, forced now to close even more of its 800 U.S. locations because of inflation. Shoppers impacted by the closures can score some steep discounts, 50 to 90%, but great. Cool. The store's gone now. Jo-Ann filed for Chapter 11 in March last year after lockdown era sales growth faded, leaving the retailer with over $1 billion in debt. It emerged from bankruptcy the next month with 815 stores across 50 states after creditors agreed to cancel $500 million in debt in exchange for ownership of the company. I mean, so it's done. The Container Store suffered the same fate. This is, Party City, 700 stores closed. By the way, that's, 5, 10, 15 Americans working at all of those stores. California burger chain founded by Kevin Hart abruptly closes all locations. GameStop. This is an article from, back in September. GameStop plops mass store closures after shutting 300 locations last year. Here's the Kevin Hart one. Hart House, the vegan fast food. Well, yeah, obviously that closed. These are all terrible signs. Even here, this about McDonald's here. McDonald's new commitment to inclusion somehow rolls back DEI. So even McDonald's now taking heat. During the height of, this is from January 11th. This is from Friday. During the height of racial justice protests that came after St. Floyd ascended upon high in a golden casket, McDonald's joined the fray of businesses to piss away money, declaring their solidarity for those committed to, quote, ending racism. By the way, racism has never been worse. Well, it has been worse. It hasn't been worse in my lifetime. During the height of the racial justice protests, in muted red and yellow tones, the video read, "He was one of us, he was one of us," and continued to end McDonald's family grieves, blah, 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 blah. Again, this is McDonald's saying, we can't survive a boycott. Like, we literally cannot deal with a boycott. Can't, won't, simply cannot do it. Pausing this, if McDonald's senior leadership said it remains committed to inclusion and believes diverse workforce is a competitive advantage, but it isn't. The best burger, the fastest, and the most affordable is a competitive advantage. Having 4 brown people and 4 white people exactly, and 4 women and 4 men is not a competitive advantage. It is not. It is worthless. It is optics. McDonald's has profited heartily from the idea that it is a friend of black communities. Has it? Has it? So, you have the pressure on these companies like McDonald's and fast food over their insane DEI policies, but you also have immense pressure. Simply what it comes down to is it's the economy, stupid. Like, that's all it is. It's the economy, stupid. People don't give a crap about DEI when a quarter pounder with cheese meal is $11. Black people don't care about whether or not a company is a friend of the black community if they can't even afford to shop there. This is a very, very, very bad sign. The retail collapse, again, Trump is not a silver bullet here. He can't fix what our economy has been doing, quite frankly, for the past 20 years. He can soften the landing, but stores like Costco, Amazon, cheap places are going to be what survive, and we're going to lose. I mean, this isn't even talking about mom and pop restaurants who have almost no chance at all of surviving. Just brutal news for, what I think is there's a bubble in the U.S. economy that's going to burst under Trump, and it's going to be no fault of his own. This is a bubble that was blown up by Joe Biden, and quite frankly, a lot of decisions made during the lockdowns, printing free money, the money we're sending to Ukraine, the dollar's value is, a joke. There's going to be a lot. There's going to be, as Trump would say, a bloodbath in the retail and fast food restaurant space. And these bankruptcy numbers, I predict, will be even higher in 2025. Let me know if there's any saving this in the comment section down below. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.